Hey y'all, it's Claire Johnson with the Home Gurus at Keller Williams Realty.
And I'm Robert Schoonover with the Home Gurus, Keller Williams Realty.
Welcome to Lunch and Learn. We're so glad you are here to join us today. We hope you've got some good questions and we hope we've got some good answers. But anyway, so we're here for you with all of your real estate needs, whether you're buying, selling, or investing. And if we don't answer your questions today, or if we don't come across the question that you might have, just reach out. Let us know, right, Robert?
That's right. And we are both OSAs, outside sales agents, both licensed in Mississippi and Tennessee.
Yep, we can cover you throughout the whole Mid-South.
All right, let's talk about the market. These are frequently asked questions that you guys ask us. First question is, how do I determine the value of a home and what factors should I consider when setting a price? For determining the value of a home, this is what we do something called a CMA, and what that is we're going to take kind of a glimpse of the homes that are for sale in the area in the past 6 months and kind of take that into factor. Also, you got to look at how the market's going. If everything's going up or down, you kind of want to be ahead of that. You don't want to be chasing that price and adjusting a lot.
And what does chasing that price mean, Robert? I know we know our lingo, but they may not know our lingo.
Well, for example, so if you set it too high and the market is on its way down, and so you lower it, but you're just chasing it to where you're not ahead of the curve, and you're never going to get that buyer.
Well, and sometimes if you price low, you'll end up getting those multiple offers too. So if you go in lower and they know it's multiple offers, then they'll frequently come in over list, and you end up getting what you were really hoping for or wanting to list originally for in advance. So that's something else to consider. So, but also when we do that comparative market analysis, we're looking at what things have already sold for, but we also want to know what your competition is. So what's currently on the market as well.
Yep.
So, and what is pending, and what those houses were listed at. And of course, we're always looking at properties that are very comparable, whether it be, we want to look in the same location, general area, square footage, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, whether it has a garage or carport or not, and that kind of stuff. So those are all things. We're not appraisers though.
No, we're
definitely not appraisers. So.
How do you market homes to potential buyers, and what specific channels or methods do you use?
Well, actually, it is all over the place. We do everything from, we do what we call circle prospecting, and what that means is anybody in that general area, we are going to market to them. Just so, even if it's the neighbors, sometimes, I like to pick out who my neighbors are. I like to know who's going to be living down the street. Pick your own neighbors. That's always a nice thing. So that's an easy first one. Of course, we put it on MLS. MLS means our multiple listing service, and that gets the information out to all realtors who are also in that same multiple listing service. So they will know, so they can bring their buyers. And of course, we hit social media and websites like gangbusters.
I was hoping you would mention that. We definitely hit social media a lot. And I know you talked about talking to the neighbors and calling, but I'm also on foot. Several of us walk around the neighborhood. Just getting the word out. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And sometimes we already have buyers that we're working with that we're on a team. I might be listing a property, and Robert's already got a buyer that he's been working with, and they haven't found that property. And I go, hey, Robert, you were looking for a house like this. Well, guess what I just listed? So sometimes it can go lickety split because we've got the whole team of us working together.
One of the advantages that we have. Give examples of a successful showing. What can set a home apart from the rest? I know when we go in for a showing with my clients, one, you can see it right off the bat, if they like it or not. But I would say a successful showing is when a buyer can walk in and truthfully see themselves in that home. And everything with the flow and everything works in there.
When you hear them start saying, oh, well, I can put the sofa here and place in their furniture, it's like, oh, that's a good sign. That's a good day.
Now, what can set a home apart from the rest?
Well, one of the things that I really work with my listing clients is I try to help them get it staged because they walk into this house, it's home for them. You know, sometimes when you see the same thing every day, you don't see all the little things that other people who haven't seen it before might notice. So, of course, there's the obvious. We want to get rid of clutter. You know, I know my personal house, I've got lots of things that I like to keep on my kitchen countertops. It's best if we can get those under the cabinets instead of on the kitchen countertops because it just kind of makes it look more open. And that goes with generally all the rooms in the house. We want to minimize.
I was going to say, try to stay minimal. And I know a lot of people have large couches, and so sometimes that might even be a thing. If it detracts from picturing the room, and you have to walk around the couch, that's always been an issue to where they can't picture the room because there's this huge piece of furniture.
They can't see
they can't
the big picture.
That's right.
And sometimes it's good if you've just got lots of extra furniture, sometimes just putting some of that furniture in the attic or the garage just to open the room up so people aren't looking at your furniture, but they're looking at the nuts and bolts of the house. Another little tidbit that I do, Robert, is I have them take down their personal photographs of their family.
Yes.
Because we want those buyers to envision their family in the house.
That's right. It's hard to picture you and your family and how everything's going to work out when you have someone else's family pictured right up there.
and you know, Robert, one time I was showing property and we went in and my buyers knew the sellers and we didn't realize at the moment they weren't such good friends that they knew where they lived, so they didn't realize it was their house. And so then they're thinking about them and they're not focused on the task at hand. So that's another thing. It's just put your family photos away. We know you love your family. We all love our families, but sometimes we just want them to make sure they're focused on the house. So think of it more like a magazine as opposed to your home while it's being shown.
Yeah.
More questions. What do we got next, Robert?
I mean, we've focused on this. We kind of trickled in from the last one.
I'm good at jumping the gun.
About staging. So do you have experience with staging homes?
Well, actually, just kind of basically what I was saying before. Now, I have not gone to the extent where I've gone and bought new furniture or rented furniture to put in it. But some people do that, and we can certainly do that if that's something that the seller is interested in us doing. That's just another expense that would be involved. I personally, in my experience, is most people want to work with what they've got and not extend financially any further than necessary.
So we'll be able to give them the hints and advice on what to do.
Absolutely.
And where to put it.
How to make it look more open, less cluttered, more minimal, like you said, and whatnot.
You want to ask?
How do you handle negotiations with buyers, and what strategies do you use to ensure a fair price for your clients? Okay, so in this case, I guess a minute ago we were talking about what we do with sellers. I think this one is we're changing hats and we're talking about working with our buyers.
And I hate to say that this is kind of a huge open question because I mean every buyer we gotta work with what scenario they're working with. So for example, if we're focused on down payment and we need a little assistance on that, that's where we would focus in the negotiations. So it just depends on really what they need and what they're trying to get out of it.
And we always want to make sure that our clients are getting a fair deal and the best deal, and we want to make sure it's going to appraise for that so it doesn't come up as a problem later on down the line. So something else I do, Robert, is even with my buyers, those CMAs we were talking about, I do CMAs for my buyers on properties that we're getting ready to write an offer on. So we'll see, like I said, what's available on the market, but what has also recently sold that's similar, so we know what to expect.
And that way we're putting in an offer that we believe is what it's worth.
And it's a good, like we said, a fair price. You know what else is a new thing that we're doing a lot more of is we're working with our clients to get the best deal for them, for their financial situation and their personal situation. And sometimes instead of asking for a price reduction, we might ask for seller concessions, as in a 2-1 buy down.
Right.
And you want to explain what a 2-1 buy down
Yeah,
is?
so essentially, you can use some of those costs to buy down your rate. For example, if it's 7%, you can buy it down to a 6 and a 5 for a temporary time.
Yeah, that 2-1 buy down, if you did a 2-1, and if we, like you said, if we were at 7%, the first year you would be going 2 points down. So you would be at 5% for the first year, and then 1% lower. So it would be 6% the following year, and then the third year it would go up to the 7. So you do have to know in advance that it is going to go up, but you've got time. And guess what else you can do?
I'm thinking that if everything goes right and everything comes down, we can refinance.
You go, Robert.
Got
He's
it.
reading my mind, y'all. There's scary stuff in there. But yeah, those 2-1 buy downs are a great thing. So instead of just thinking, let's reduce the price, doing this 2-1 buy down can reduce their payments. And a payment reduction can help them afford more house sometimes. So that's definitely something to think about. Let's see if we can read the question. How frequently do you communicate with sellers during the marketing and selling process? And what can they expect in terms of updates and progress reports?
All right, so first off, every week we have a listing manager who will contact them.
Her name's Teresa. She's the best.
She is the best. Every Friday, so you're going to get an update then. That's just minimum. And then anytime we are going to rethink strategy, we'll be talking. Anytime we have a showing and we get feedback, we're going to relay that. Open houses, everything. We are going to communicate with you. Let's see, am I missing anything?
Well, sometimes I just reach out and say, how's it going? I just call the client and say, hey, can we do an open house this weekend? Would that be okay? Would Saturday work better? Sunday work better? Let's do both days. That sort of thing. And just to say, what are your thoughts? What have you seen that you like, dislike, or would like for us to change on the way we're marketing your home? Because ultimately, we're just here to make y'all happy.
Oh, and the last final time we would communicate with you is with the offers that come in.
Yes.
Forgot to mention that part, right?
Well, that's always the best time, especially if we've got multiple offers. And that's another good thing that we can help you with, because offers look so different, and just the littlest tweak can make the biggest difference financially. So we will go through and compare each offer and ultimately what that would net for our sellers, so that they can make the decision which offer works best for their situation.
All right, so kind of, it's like what the next slides are. So it is now a good time to buy.
Well, it's a more challenging time to buy. I will say that. And that's for a couple of reasons. It's a more challenging time because we're talking about those interest rates like we were a minute ago. So the higher interest rates increase that monthly payment, which means sometimes we've got clients who were looking at a $350,000 house, and now they're looking at a $275,000 house at the same kind of monthly payment kind of thing. So, that is a challenge, as well as the inventory. We're still extraordinarily low on inventory.
Yeah, and we just saw mortgage rates go up recently. Those that follow Powell said that he was going to hold rates, and then they were going to slowly increase later on. And that does not affect mortgage rates, but what mortgage rates do is they follow what the future is going to hold. And since Powell is going to increase rates on credit cards and everything in the future, mortgage rates went up.
Yeah. A lot of people hear that interest rates are going up. What mortgage loan rates follow is inflation.
That's right.
So a lot of people don't realize that. So, but all in all, at the end of the day, if you find that perfect house that you want, even if you're just looking around by accident, yes, it's absolutely a good time to buy. We can work with you, like we said, work with those 2-1 buy downs or seller concessions to help you get in that dream house.
That's right.
Don't miss it.
We need to get it now, and then so when rates do go up, you're in a better position, and whenever they go down, you can refinance.
Absolutely.
And then the opposite side of that is the selling side. And you did mention earlier that we're low inventory.
Absolutely.
It is still true. We need houses. We have tons of buyers looking for houses, and no one is selling them, so people are jumping on them.
Yep, and that results in those multiple offers that we were talking about earlier. And like I said, us being able to go in and tell you what each one of these offers says and what it bottom line means for you, that's one of the services that we provide.
And I mean, kind of this whole lunch and learn is kind of building it's all together. And then the price correctly goes back to doing our CMA and everything, and looking at the current market and kind of judging if it's going up and down and pricing it correctly.
Yeah, that's crucial. Especially sometimes people are like, well, we can always ask this and drop it later. You know, Robert, I've had people who go, well, you know, the houses are turning pretty quickly, but this one's been on the market for X amount of days, which is longer than what they expected. And that makes them wonder what's wrong with this house.
That's right. I mean,
nothing was wrong with the house. It was just wrong with the list price. So.
And it's just natural for us to think like, okay, so what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
And then they'll find themselves lowering it, and then they're chasing that price that they should have.
Yeah, like you talked about earlier.
Yep.
Don't chase the rabbit.
Don't chase the rabbit.
Be the leader.
All right, so I mean, we had spoken about this ratio before, and it lost me, so I'm ready this time. 3-to-1 ratio.
Robert,
I got
what
it.
does that mean?
I got it this time. All right, so we're going to have 3 buyers for every 1 house on the market. And so what that shows you is we have tons of buyers and not a lot of houses to buy right now. So if you're a seller, let's contact us, let's get it on the market, and it'll get sold.
Yeah, and when we say inventory, that simply means the number of houses that are available on the market right then.
Yep. I'm trying to make this too complicated.
No, we use fancy words and lingo sometimes and trust that they know what we mean, and sometimes it's just what we know.
That's right. And we have seen a slight uptick in inventory, but that's because we are so low. We do have a few new construction houses coming out, and I mean, they're almost getting gobbled up.
Oh yeah, and doing pre-sales. I just sold a pre-sale.
So just those few houses coming to market makes the inventory go up. But I mean,
yeah, just 1 or 2 houses makes percentage-wise it look like there's been a big increase, when in fact it was 1 or 2 houses. So not really a big significant difference. Like you said, new construction. There is new construction going everywhere. We're so good at this. We answered the question before it even comes up on the slide.
I mean, I have a buyer in contract with a new construction right now, and if you drive around, I'm guessing you're going to see new construction. I mean, it is everywhere. There's stuff being built, but it does take time and a process.
Yeah, it does.
And some of those new construction areas, you know, they do give incentives, and depending on which maker would justify or change what incentives they give. So get with us, contact us, and
those builder incentives, those are like we were talking about seller concessions. That's, in other words, what they're going to give to that buyer. Yep. So it may be a discounted price. You may be able to pick out certain custom add-ons. They might give that without charging additional fees. They may do that 2-1 buy down. Yeah, they might do the help you buy that interest rate down. So there's lots of different ways that we can negotiate that for you. So like Robert said, reach out to us and put us to work for you.
That's right.
Open houses. Oh, that's another way we market. We didn't mention that when we were talking about marketing earlier. We do open houses every weekend.
Every weekend. Sometimes both days of the weekend. I've seen some on Fridays, so that way, busy weekend, so people can get on the weekday. But we're definitely getting those open houses. So what it allows is home exposure. It allows just the community to be able to walk in and see your house, and it definitely benefits both the seller and the potential, the community, the potential buyer.
Yep.
That's kind of interested in kind of.
Well, and sometimes it's the nosy neighbors, and like I said, they may come in and take a look around, and then they see somebody that they talk to at work or whatever, friend of theirs, and they say that they're looking for a house. They hadn't found what they're looking for, and they say, hey, you know what? I just went to this open house just out of curiosity. And you know what? If you want to come to our open houses out of curiosity, come on. We'd love to see you and show you around. More company, the more fun we have in those open houses.
You don't even have to call ahead. You
just come on in. Yeah, I had a fella this weekend at an open house I did last Saturday. and they were sitting out in the front yard, and I happened to walk by a window and saw them out there. So I opened the door and I said, "Hey, y'all come on in." And they were like, "Oh, well, we didn't know if we were supposed to call or what." I said, "No, just come on in. Let's go."
It's open. It's an open house. Just come on in.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about the opportunities it gives and allows the community to come in and shop the current homes and the neighbors to see everything.
Yeah, it gets you a feel for the home. It's also good if you're thinking about selling your home to go to these open houses of houses that are similar to yours. And that way you can see, okay, well, this is what this house has to offer and this is what they're listing it at. And how does that compare to yours? Is it nicer or not quite as nice? I know we always think our house is the best, but let's be honest, let's be realistic, take the emotions out of it as best we can, and let's just go in and take a good look. But going into these open houses, that just gives you good information and educates you on when you're ready to put your home on the market.
That's right. And this is the open house that we're having this weekend, November 4th. It's 188 Magnolia Gardens Drive in Hernando, and
I think that's Avery, right?
Avery is going to be there. She's super nice. You just walk on in and tour the home and say hi to her.
Yeah, you'll probably catch her on social media too. She's out there a lot.
Right. Oh,
our buyer seminars. Yeah, Ashton and Pam are doing those. And actually, I talked to Pam just this morning, and she asked if I would join in. I said I would be glad to. Robert, I used to teach real estate school.
Did you?
I know, you're shocked. He's not shocked. He already knew this, y'all. But in case you didn't know, I did teach people who want to get into the real estate business how to get their license, and I taught those pre-licensing course hours.
She knows that.
So they asked for me to be involved. So next time I'm going to join in.
That's right.
So that'll be
and
fun.
The good thing about this is there's no obligation or anything. You're not signing any of the agents. You're just coming in to learn, and that's really what we're trying to do. Is just to teach you guys.
Just to educate so you know what to expect and kind of know how the process works. And we're going to do this from both perspectives now, Robert. We're going to be doing, this particular one is a buyer seminar. We're going to also do seller seminars. And I've had a lot of people recently talking about getting into investment, but don't know where to begin. So I'm going to do an investor seminar. So we can talk about different things that you need to consider.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent.
We're just here to educate.
We are.
Just want to help.
All right.
Pie day. Oh, get those bellies ready.
Every year, this is a big hit. We're giving away those pies. I do want to give you a heads up that we are almost out of the apple. So,
I know.
And that is the best one. That's my favorite.
I like pecan. Just gotta say,
it
it's pecan.
Okay.
Don't start with me. It's pecan.
So you do have to claim your pie before the November 14th.
Yes,
right?
The 14th is the cutoff day. But yeah, if you just reach out to us, if you don't already have a link or didn't get a postcard from us, just reach out, let us know. We'll make sure we hook you up and you can pick up that pie right before Thanksgiving. So you don't even have to cook. You just take it right along. Courtesy of the gurus.
That's right. All right, the difference between renting and buying a home. Ooh, this is some good stuff.
We're getting into it, man.
So when deciding between buying a home or renting, think about the three important factors here. Avoiding rising rents. So those that are currently renting probably know, or those that have rented in the past. Every time you sign a lease, you risk your rent going up.
Yep, because those leases are typically just for a year. So you only know what your payment's going to be for 1 year.
That's right. And is it the same for when you purchase a home?
Well, yes and no. It is the same if you're doing a 2-1 buy down like we talked about earlier, because after the first year, your rate's going to go up, so your payment's going to go up. After the second year, it's going to go up. However, if you do just a fixed rate, 30-year amortization, meaning you're spreading your payments over like 30 years, you can do 20 years, 15 years, whatever you want to do. But that would be a fixed, your principal and interest amount would be fixed over the life of the loan.
That's right. But once you hit that 7 in that example,
that stays.
It would stay.
Unless you want to refinance. And that's always an option.
Yeah. So your monthly payment generally goes up when you rent, and you have with your fixed rate mortgage, your monthly is locked. So in 20 years, just imagine what your rent has increased to.
I don't wanna.
But in 20 years, if you purchase a home now, we'll just say you're fixed for easy math, say you're paying $2,000 a month, in 20 years, you're going to be paying $2,000, if not less, because you may be paying down the PMI and everything.
Absolutely. Or it could be paid off if they had a shorter term.
Oh, that's true.
What we got next, Robert?
We have tangible and valuable assets. So this is basically, the equity that you earn in that. You won't get any return on investment as you pay your monthly rent. Your landlord's getting all that, right?
Yeah.
Take
that and just flush it.
Just flush it, it's gone, or burn it. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. Line your cat box with it, whatever.
And then as your home price rises and as you pay down, you're going to build equity. So with that, we'll just for easy math, we'll say a $200,000 home and you pay it down to $150,000, but now that home is worth $250,000. You now have $100,000 in equity.
You're so good at math, Robert.
Hey, that's why I made easy numbers.
Yeah, but you know what else? Having that equity allows you to, if you need a loan for something, maybe you've got a kid going to college, or you want to do an add on to your home, maybe you want to put a pool in like we did, you can get a HELOC, like a home. Is that the next slide?
Oh, I thought there is. We did talk about add-ons.
See, you
so
thought you had me.
I had
you thought you had me. I'm just that good, Robert. I'm just saying that you can get a loan on that equity that you've got. Usually about 90% of what you can do 90% of what the home appraises for. And if you do a home equity line of credit, or a HELOC as we call them, they'll give you 90%. So you back out what is still owed on your first mortgage, and then take 10% off of that top price, and then you've got what you've got left available to borrow, if you so choose.
All right, and the last thing is owning your home grows your wealth over time. When the cost of renting goes up, it's more difficult to save, and if you buy, you build that equity that we talked about. And building wealth over time, think about those that look into getting dividend earning index funds. You're trying to beat inflation instead of just putting in savings and kind of losing out on that, because there's a 3% rise that you're trying to beat out. With renting, you're behind the curve on that. You're burning the money, as you stated. But when you purchase that home, you build that equity. It's a lot easier to stay ahead of that curve. And then that equity you can sell to upgrade and do whatever you need to do.
Or maybe you want to sell that house, you pull that equity out and buy something bigger or in a different location that you might prefer, whatever your needs are. It just gives you more options.
That's right. Net worth grows with time. Essentially,
it's an asset.
It is an asset.
As opposed to rent. That's not an asset.
Very similar to the index funds I just mentioned. It's an asset that's going to grow through time.
I think maybe you just jumped ahead on the slide yourself. Gotcha.
I do. So if you're thinking about buying a home this year, consider the long-term benefits and give us a call.
Yep. And we can help you with down payment money options as far as down payment assistance and things like that, seller concessions and whatnot. Just give us a call. We can tell you that there's other ways. That a lot of people think they have to put 20% down. That's just not true. So
there are ways around.
Not that that would hurt to put 20% down, but it's not the only way. Back to building the wealth. That's pretty much the same thing that we were talking about. As price appreciates, that increases your equity without you even having to make payments.
That's right.
That's just to your benefit.
But you are making payments, so it's going.
So that's reducing your liabilities and increasing your asset value as well.
That's right. All right, so percent change in home prices. The national average is almost 300%, 297% in 32 years. So on average, people who bought homes 32 years ago have seen their homes value nearly triple.
That's insane.
That's awesome.
But don't you want to get in the game? Because 32 years are going to go by. I want to have that on my side
You
as
need to
opposed
just
to miss
start
out.
early,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Just like that investing, you want to start early. And with renting, you're just prolonging that till you start that 32 years.
Yeah.
It won't start until you get in the game.
That's right.
That may be why in a recent Fannie Mae survey, 76% of respondents said they believe buying a home is a safe investment. And
Absolutely.
the numbers we saw a second ago prove that.
Can't lie with numbers.
Yeah,
Actually, some people are kind of good at it, but
yeah. A lot of people are afraid, with the house prices going up and down. And even when they go down, essentially through the long term, they're still in an upward state. So you'll see it go like this, up and down, but it's still in an
there'll be
upward
little
state.
dips from
Right.
time to
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
It's the long game.
it's the long game, definitely.
So
If you're thinking about
use
building a new home, yeah, if you go directly to the builder, it's like going to court without an attorney. You don't want to do that,
they'll have
right?
an attorney on their
Because
side.
they're going to have
Yeah.
one. Don't you want one in
Yeah,
your
you-
corner? Come on, give us the call. We'll go to work for you.
Agents help you understand every detail with the time frame in buying or purchasing or selling the home, your home warranties and the materials.
Especially in new construction,
Yeah,
if they're
construction,
doing upgrades and things like that. But there's even if it's not new construction, those time frames are critically important because you've got a certain amount of time that you've got to do your home inspection in.
That's right.
And then you've got a certain amount of time once you get that inspection in to give the information to the seller about we'll lift that home inspection contingency if you'll do yada, yada, yada. So there's that, and then there's
you can void your contract.
Absolutely. And then we've got the appraisal and getting that in. A termite has to be ordered on the seller side, making sure you scheduled closing ahead of time because a lot of people like to close at the end of the month, so sometimes those get busy. So that's one of the things that on our team, we've got transaction coordinators. And they help us and help you every single step of the way. And they reach out to our clients, whether buyer, seller, what have you, every Friday and say, here's where we are, here's what's happened this week. And so we make sure we don't miss any of those time frames. And the Friday thing, I mean, you might have had a deadline on Tuesday. We don't want to wait till Friday. So that Friday prior to, they'll say, well, this is coming up, so we need to be ready for this or be making decisions prior to that deadline because we certainly don't want to miss any deadlines. That's not good.
And some other things that we can help you stay on track with is the negotiations we had mentioned earlier. And there are almost always roadblocks that we help you get through, almost always.
Almost always, in one form or fashion, whether it be a cloud on a title or there's just there's so many things. We can be here till next Tuesday.
On both sides can be a roadblock.
Oh, emotions, definitely.
And also with upgrades, and this is where you had mentioned upgrades earlier, and I thought that's where we were. We can help you stay on track with that. And a lot of questions we'll get is, hey, if I put in an $80,000 pool, am I going to see $80,000 on my house? No. I mean, I'd say it's probably closer to 10.
It depends.
I'm
not an appraiser, Robert.
I'm
not an appraiser.
But you'll see what I was trying to show is like how big of a gap that is from what you truly get out of it versus having. So if you're going to get a pool just to sell the house better, it's definitely not going to benefit you.
It'd be better kitchens and bathrooms. Kitchens and bathrooms, or if you're wanting to upgrade something before you sell, kitchens and bathrooms are typically things that you can look at where you can get a better return on making those investments toward making those upgrades.
ROI.
We're not accountants either, just saying.
No, we're not.
If the seller is unfamiliar with the home buying and selling process, a mistake can be costly. If they set the listing price too high, fewer buyers will consider the home and it may take much longer to sell. That's from Investopedia. Another thing like we were talking about a few minutes ago was people start to think, what's wrong with the house?
Mhm.
It just was priced wrong. Nothing wrong with the house, just something wrong with the price. So we definitely don't want them to sell too high, but we also don't want them leaving money on the table.
That's right. A fine line you gotta
Yeah.
to walk through. I personally walked through houses that are just amazing and beautiful, and they're not selling because they're not priced right.
So call us. We'll help you get a price right.
Call
No, call me.
me.
Call our office. We're a team.
Yeah. Choosing multi-gen living allows people to purchase a home much larger than they can afford. Essentially, what this is leveraging. You have all the different tiers of family pulling together to get the larger house.
Yeah.
And
Because
we're
people are
seeing that.
living in longer, sometimes we might need to bring a mom or a dad who's alone to live with us.
It's definitely
Better
becoming,
than assisted living because
Yeah.
we can assist in their living.
it's definitely
So.
becoming more popular.
And it
these
makes
days.
it financially
Yeah.
feasible. All righty. We
Oh,
did
yeah,
it,
keep
Robert.
going.
Woo! We made it.
Well, thanks for watching.
We appreciate you coming in, and we'd love to see you come into the office and
That's right.
actually come in. So give us a call or come see us, and we're here to help you with all your real estate needs.
All right, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
See you soon.